Welcome to beautiful Norway. I have to admit, I wasn't sure what to expect. Firstly, how do I pack for this cruise? Is it going to be cold? What is the weather like, even during the month of June? And would it feel like Alaska? I have to say, in terms of first impressions, this cruise has been very different from what I expected. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I always like to share a little bit of our first impressions, answer some of the questions that people have been asking about our cruises early on in our cruise. Now, today we are at the beginning, well, maybe middle of day 3. This has been a really wonderful cruise, but I have taken note of different questions. I've had a chance to sample some of the food, some of the entertainment, some of the cruise ports, and I'm going to share with you what my first impressions are so far. Now, we're on board Holland America Rotterdam, and this is my very first Norway cruise, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but isn't the scenery behind me absolutely wonderful? It has been magnificent so far. Now, before I get started answering some questions and sharing how our cruise has been so far, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Okay, so firstly, what cruise ship are we on? We are on Holland America Rotterdam, and we are doing a 7-day cruise in Norway. Now, our itinerary is Edgefjord, Skolden, Alisand, and Kristiansand, and then we are heading back to Rotterdam. Now, I apologize if I have mispronounced any of the names of these ports. This has really been my challenge, but these ports so far are very beautiful. Today we spent the day in Edgefjord, and by the way, one of the really nice things about being on a mid-sized cruise ship that this is the fact that we're able to get into these smaller cruise ports. We were actually able to wake up early and see as we were sailing under the bridge to enter this fjord. It was absolutely beautiful. Now, by the way, we are on board as part of a press trip with Holland America. However, as always, all opinions are my own, and this is not a full review. Once I come home, I will be able to gather everything together, share tips, tricks, and a full review with you once the cruise is done. But I can tell you that we did do an amazing excursion today. It was sea kayaking, and I definitely can highly recommend it. Okay, so let's start off with some of the questions that a lot of people did have. Now, in particular, if you are sailing out of Rotterdam, you are probably going to be flying into Amsterdam. That is what we did as well. And it was actually a very easy airport, despite the fact that it is quite busy. We didn't have any issues. Now, we did take a taxi to our hotel. We stayed at the Amsterdam Marriott Hotel, which we found to be quite conveniently located a little bit outside of the hustle and bustle, but still within walking distance to many of Amsterdam's main tourist attractions. Now, we spent a couple of days in Amsterdam before our cruise that left out of Rotterdam, and we had a wonderful time. More on that in a future video. But in terms of getting to Rotterdam, we took a train. Now, I know if you're coming from North America, sometimes it can seem a little bit confusing, but we didn't find it to be difficult at all. So you can actually buy your train tickets leaving from Amsterdam to Rotterdam, and it's about a 45-minute train ride. Now, you can buy these online. However, when you get to the central train station in Amsterdam, something that you're going to find is that the personnel, the people that are working at the train station, first of all, they're plentiful. There are many people that you can ask. And as well, they do speak English, so not to worry, they will help to direct you to the proper platform. And then once you get on the train, you can just wait until your stop comes up, and then you can disembark from your train, and you can take probably an Uber is the easiest way to get to your hotel after that. Now, by the way, the train is relatively inexpensive, so figure it costs about 3 to 4 euros for the train. Now, we did allow an extra day in Rotterdam to visit, so I have a couple of suggestions for you. One of them is visit the New York Hotel. Now, this is just down the street from the cruise terminal, so if you do stay at a hotel, we stayed at the Enhouw Hotel. Now, I apologize if I've mispronounced this. It was a very nice hotel. We stayed at that hotel, which is right next to the cruise port, and you can walk to the New York Hotel, and that was the original Holland America offices. So that was definitely something interesting to see. Now, something else that I suggest that you do in Rotterdam is visit the SS Rotterdam. Now, that is the 5th Rotterdam. Now, a little bit of trivia. Holland America Rotterdam, right now we are on Rotterdam 7. So there have actually been 7 Rotterdam cruise ships. But Rotterdam 5, very interesting cruise ship. So you can actually go visit this. It is now a hotel that you can stay in if you like, as well as a museum, and even for free you can enter it and walk around. It was really something to see. Now, the big question a lot of people had is, what is the weather like in Amsterdam and in Norway, and how should I pack? Now, something I think that might be similar for people that are used to Alaska is that you want to think about packing with layers in mind, and you want to pack for variable temperatures. Even though we're here during the month of June, it's actually quite nice right now. It's around 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius, quite beautiful. Sometimes you have a little bit of wind, which is why I'm wearing a little bit of a sweater over a light dress. But when we were in Amsterdam, the temperature ranged in the morning time from about maybe 55 to about 65 in the afternoon. And sometimes it was a little bit drizzly and overcast for part of the day. And another part of the day, it might have been sunny. So something you'll probably want to do is just, make sure that you're wearing a little bit of a t-shirt or something like that and a sweater over. And something we realized is it is very handy to have sort of a raincoat / windbreaker that really does seem to help in these cities and countries. Now, something that we found particularly interesting as we flew into Amsterdam and later on as we sailed from the Netherlands into Norway are the wind turbines. I don't think I've heard a lot of people talking about them before, but as we flew and we were landing, we could see the wind turbines. And as we were departing from Rotterdam and sailing to Norway, we could see, it seemed like miles and miles of these wind turbines in the sea. It was really something very interesting. Now, there were 2 other things that were particularly interesting. One of them was the abundance of bicycles, in particular in Amsterdam. And the other thing is the fact that it really gets dark so late at night. So in Amsterdam, probably around 10:30 at night during the time that we're here, which is, around the 3rd week of June. But as well as we sailed into Norway, the sun seemed to be setting somewhere around midnight, and the sunrise, we looked it up this morning, was at 3:55. So we actually did have to close our blinds when we went to bed, because it definitely does get quite bright in the morning. By the way, my apologies for any noise that you do hear. I am really on the outside of the cruise ship on my balcony, so it is possible that other people are on their balcony as well, and we are going to hear a little bit of that. Now, in terms of Holland America Rotterdam and the cruise ship, some people wondered, what is Rotterdam like in comparison to other cruise ships, in particular to maybe some of the cruise ships that sailed in Alaska, like Koningsdam. Now, we sailed to Alaska just about a year ago on Koningsdam. Absolutely beautiful ship. So Rotterdam is really the same type of ship. It is the Pinnacle class. However, Rotterdam, all of the little things that maybe you would have thought or even not thought, how could they improve upon? They've just improved upon it on Rotterdam. This ship is absolutely amazing, and I do think a little bit of a hidden gem is the Half Moon Bar. Now, something that I like in particular about this cruise ship for these types of itineraries is the fact that you do have a pool where there is a retractable roof. So in essence, it becomes an indoor pool when you need it to be an indoor pool, like in Alaska or in Norway, which is really good, or anytime the weather is a little bit inclement. But they also can open that up, so it does really give a nice space if you want to enjoy the hot tub or the pool. We have the captain's announcement. It turns out it's the cruise director. And yes, they do have some of the announcements in English and in Dutch. Now, something else that you should know about Rotterdam is the amount of enrichment activities that you can participate in. Now, yesterday we went to a talk with a cruise director who was fabulous, by the way, and we had all sorts of information about our first cruise port of call. It was really so interesting to get to know this before we visited, and in contrast maybe to sometimes some other cruise lines, this wasn't a port shopping talk. This really was information about the port, and we appreciated it. Now, in my full review video, I am going to share some of the things that you'll want to know about entertainment and about the food. It has been very good so far, but Holland America has made some recent changes, some enhancements. I think you do want to know about them, but I am going to be able to share that more in detail in an upcoming review video. Now, if you have any questions, please let me know. You have specifics, even some people had asked about menus. I will be sharing that in an upcoming video, but please leave your comments and questions down in the comments below. Now, something really interesting on this cruise, and something that I really haven't heard talked about very much before, is the fact that in particular, and I do think that this might be on Holland America, is it does feel like a bit of an immersion cruise in some ways. The fact that on this cruise in particular, probably about half the guests are Dutch, so you hear the Dutch language, and then of course you hear English, either English from America, English from the UK, etc. So you have a wide variety of people that are sailing on this cruise, but the fact that there are a lot of, like, there's the Dutch food that you can eat, for instance, at the Grand Dutch Cafe. I have to admit, I have not eaten there yet. I absolutely love it there, but there's been so much good food to eat. That is my plan for tomorrow. But something that we did do is we went to the Royal Dutch Tea that is now on sea days at 3 p.m. This is something pretty new. So we went to that yesterday and we absolutely loved it. Now, in terms of food, the food has been plentiful. The food has been very good. We went on night 1 to the main dining room and night 2 to Pinnacle. We absolutely love Pinnacle. It is so good. And you know, we've even been to the Lido Buffet, which has also been something good. And yes, we have had some pizza. Oh, and I almost forgot, something that I highly suggest you do, especially if you have an early morning excursion, is order the free or included room service on Holland America. We've really enjoyed that. I guess because we've been pretty lucky with the weather, it's been particularly nice as well to wake up in the morning, have our coffee, have our breakfast on our balcony. But that is something that you can do. And of course, you can go to the buffet or you can go to the main dining room as well. Now, I hope that this early first impressions video has been helpful to at least give you a little bit of an idea what to expect. And of course, my full review will be coming, you know, in a couple of weeks or so. After we get home, we can compile all of the videos and make sure that I am answering all of the questions that you have. Now, please let me know your questions, your comments. If you are going to be sailing either on this ship or if you're going to be sailing to Norway, please let me know down in the comments below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now. Happy cruising.